To make the little hair bobs, they're great for little girls' ponytails. They also make neat scissor fobs just by using a loop over connection. You can identify your scissors when you're sewing in a group. I begin by winding 2 shuttles continuous thread method, CTM. Just gives me a lot of thread to work with, and I can just continue making the little rounds that I'm tatting into buttons. And that's what I want to show you today, is how to join into a button. So I'm going to begin, and I usually don't even draw out a pattern for this. I'm just going to kind of tat what I need to make it fully around the button, but I'm going to begin possibly with 6 double stitches, and let's see where that takes us. Okay, I've got a fairly small button, so it's probably going to take 3, 6, 9, about 12 rings to make it around this small yellow button. So I've began a ring between the 2 shuttles, and I'm now going to take a crochet hook and I'll join into a hole of the button by pulling up the top of my ring thread there. Okay, you want to be careful that you don't pull the double stitches up through the button. You just want to see the loop of thread, and also be cautious that you don't twist it. And see, I've got a little bit of a twist. I think I'll work out. Push the shuttle through and then ease the excess thread out. You want the join to be right where you left off with your double stitch. You'll do an overstitch after your join to make your join secure. Need a little more thread. Okay, that counts as my first double stitch, so I need 5 more. Okay, then I'll close that ring. Alright, I'm going to turn for my chain. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do right side tatting so that my picots do lay down nicely. This one, you can see that I didn't bother, and they curl up. You may like that appearance. And the little girl certainly isn't going to know if you did front side, back side tatting. But keep in mind that when you don't reverse the order of your stitch, your picot is going to naturally curve up. So for this particular one, I'm going to go ahead and reverse the order of my stitch, meaning that I'm going to do an overstitch first. And I'm going to put a few more picots on this one. They truly just go as your fancy strikes you. Okay, now I'll turn to the front side of the work again, and let's do another ring. This time I'm going to join into the same hole in the button. I'm going to find that I can probably get 3 rings joined into that same hole before I move on. So again, I was at 6 double stitches. 2 more. Now I'm using a vintage experienced crochet hook. I don't really crochet. For somebody that doesn't crochet, I have quite a collection. This is one that was made by Sherry Pence with my name on it. It's retractable. They're kind of cool. This is one that I get from Deb Arnold at Designs 9, and they are a crochet hook that's cut in half so that I can put it easily with my little fob here. Now some of your shuttles may actually have a long enough hook. This one is a arrow type. I got this one online, and I'm sorry I don't remember exactly who I bought it from, but I believe that hook is long enough that I could get a hold of that thread. So I wouldn't have to have a separate crochet hook if I was using this one. The same with the Randy House has made these great GR8 shuttles, and I believe I could get in there and catch that thread with it. Yeah, I can. But I happen to already have these two shuttles wound for traveling. These are a fun thing to give away to strangers that have never seen tatting, and it's something they can take home to their little girl. But do you see that I'm working the excess out by rocking the threads back and forth with my fingertips? I'm being careful not to bring the double stitches into that join. I need an overstitch to complete the join. Now let's look at what the back is. The back side of the work, you're going to see the two strands. They're a little bit closer on the front, but on the back they're slightly separated. And that's just the nature of the back side of your tatting. Okay, so I need 5 more stitches. Get myself some more thread. And close that ring. Okay. Turn for the next chain. And the great thing about these when you're traveling and you're trying to talk to people about tatting, it really doesn't matter if you get one extra stitch in or one less stitch in. The finished project is so cute, and they'll be amazed that you're taking 2 threads and tying them together and making a useful, pretty object. Okay, I'm ready for my next ring. What I see people try to do is from their chain, they'll try to join into their button. Be mindful of where you are. I need a ring. I need to begin the ring. Okay, here comes our join again. Still joining into that first buttonhole. I just like the feel of this old crochet hook. Here comes my 5. You can see that these go pretty quick. So you don't have a lot invested in something that you've given away to spread the art of tatting. Now, how do I know that I'm ready to move on? I can see that my next ring would just about touch that next buttonhole. So I would continue with my chain. My next ring would join into the second buttonhole. Now when I do these, I don't bother hiding my ends. I get to the end and I tie it in a really firm, you might call it a square knot. It's just a simple overhand knot. And then I touch it with a little bit of fray check or thread sealant. You'll find it under several brands. I think Dritz makes one. And just use the smallest amount you can because they do, it is kind of stiff. And then I'll take and cut that thread away. Now to sew on the band, I like to find the ones that don't have the metal to close the band together. Some of my favorite finds are these that are just made out of a tube of stretch knit. You can see when I try to uncurl it. These don't seem to break. Sometimes these will pull apart. And what I do to try to help to reinforce it is when I sew my tatted button in place, I'll sew over where they have glued that together. But I myself have had some of these pop when I'm trying to get a ponytail really tight. It's not the end of the world. You're just going to cut your button away from the band and sew it to a new one. You're going to find that the tatting will outlast and is washable. So if little girl rolls in the dirt and gets it dirty, you're going to be able to wash it up. To sew these on, I like to take a length of the thread, and what have I got here? About 20 inches or so, that I was tatting with. And I'm going to fold it in half, take the two, the cut end, and I'm going to thread that through a tapestry needle. And a real handy one to find is these by John James, the little pebbles. They just look cool, and it gives you a variety of the tapestry needles. This is a clover that I'm fiddling with. Clover needle threader. This works like the old-fashioned piece of paper. I think I showed you in another video how to put a piece of paper over a thread and then thread it through a needle. Oh, don't pull it out. Okay, so I want the two ends through my tapestry needle. So now I'm not going to have to tie a knot. I'm going to be able to loop through the end where it's looped together. And so here's the one I want to sew now. Go ahead and trim those ends. I'm getting a mess here. I'd already put fray check on that. That's completely up to you. Try to stay in camera. And you just sew until you feel it's secure. Now again, I'm not going to tie a knot. What I'm going to do is take that needle underneath the band, the little knit band, and I'm just going to kind of go back and forth a few times and just kind of knot it into itself. And I haven't had one of these come apart yet. one more stitch if I can make it do it. Okay. Cut that close, and there's my button hairband. Thanks for watching.